What's going on, everybody? Johnny here, bringing you another new episode of the RV Files podcast. Super stoked you can be here to join me. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the year 2026. Super stoked you guys to be here to join me. We're going to be talking about what else? UFOs, of course, baby. So today we're going to be talking about UFO underground bases. This has been always an interesting one for me. I've known about this for a while, so this is like nothing new really, but it's something that I don't think a lot of people know about, at least not in the general public kind of sense. UFO enthusiasts do definitely know about the underground bases, and it's all not been completely proven, but obviously there's always a lot of talk within the UFO community of different UFO bases around the United States. Specifically in the one we're going to be talking about today is going to be in Dulce, New Mexico. So that one has a lot of interesting stories that comes with it. Also, there's places like in Utah that have a lot of stories with that too. So very interesting. It looks like that a lot has come from like those places, and a lot of stories have come from those places, from like local people to people that have done research. It's just a very interesting thing to talk about and know about. So we're going to dive into a few different things that happened at Dulce, and a few different theories and a few different things that have been floating around for a long while about Dulce and possible underground alien bases, government bases that are around the area, and where different kinds of crazy things are happening around there. So let's get into it, guys. I'm super stoked you guys are here once again, and like I said, Happy New Year. Let's get into this bad boy. So when it comes to the Dulce, New Mexico area, there's been, like I said, lots of local people that have a bunch of different stories about it. There is definitely a bunch of local natives that have claimed to see vents that come from the Archuleta Mesa, which is a mesa that is within Dulce, and it's a big old flat kind of mesa, and it looks like the perfect shape if you wanted to hide something underground, which is what is claimed to be there. And people around the area have claimed for many years, and different people have claimed seeing flying disc appearing from the Archuleta Mesa and going back into it. So there's been many different things, and like I said, there's been local people that say that they've seen vents in the areas too, where people probably go in and out from, but they don't like to go any deeper than that, because for the fear of what could happen to them or what they may run into. There is definitely a lot of freaky stuff that happens within that. And when it comes to the Archuleta Mesa, there is a couple of different stories about there being multi-layered levels of that whole area. And when it comes to the multi-layer areas, there's not a lot of good things that go on in there if they're happening. So when it comes to the mesa, like I said, they've been saying that there's a couple of different levels. Apparently there's I believe that there's 7 levels of the mesa that have been said to exist. Once again, like I said, this has just been told by many different people. Obviously, take this all with a grain of salt, just like I do, but it sounds fairly interesting, and it's just a fun thing that we could talk about. And obviously, if it's more sinister, it's a little more scarier than anything. But we all got our interests and intrigues, and this one definitely intrigues me a lot. So when it comes to level one is basically a security entrance, and basic security entering into the whole facility itself. When it comes to level two is apparently they strip you down, they do body scans, and they do like your body weight, and they weigh you in and out just to make sure you don't have anything that you're sneaking out or things like that. So it's definitely really strict on all that kind of stuff, like biometric scanning and stuff like that. So definitely the first 2 levels don't sound very sinister, but it starts to get a lot weirder and apparently a lot darker when it gets down to the other ones. And level 3 also too, not another scary level. Apparently that's their communication center. So that's where they, communicate throughout the whole facility itself, apparently. And level 3, like 3, 2, and 1 are definitely not the freaky ones. It's when we start getting to level 4 is where apparently some freaky stuff happens. And when it comes to level 4, like I said, we're going to keep our open mind and stuff like that, because this is what's been told, and like I said, interesting as hell. That's where they do exotic research, apparently. So with this exotic research, apparently, when it comes to level 4, they do study of telepathy. They study people's communications through telepathic powers, and then they do hypnosis. They do study of the hypnosis and dream states. They do dream analysis and dreams. They deep dive into like what happens into the subconsciousness when it comes to dreams. So that one's research facilities when it comes to those kind of areas. Level 5 is where a housing area for humans is, and level 5 will make sense once we talk about level 6, but yeah. So level 5 is apparently an area where they keep humans and animals, and I believe different kind of things in there. But it's a living facility apparently. So when it comes to this living facility, they just keep them there to get them prepped for level 6. Now, when we get to level 6, this is where they call it Nightmare Hall, and yeah, use your imagination. There's going to be some weird stuff going on with level 6. So when it comes to level 6, we are talking about humans experimenting on aliens and vice versa, aliens experimenting on humans. So they're doing, there's an agreement apparently with the humans and the aliens and what they can do to each other for further researching both anatomies and what they can do with them. And apparently what they want to do is they're trying to fuse humans and aliens and animals and different types of species, and that's what they're trying to conduct. There are all these weird experiments on humans and aliens, and apparently it is the Greys, what we all hear about. So the Grey aliens, obviously the probably shadow government researchers, scientists, and stuff like that, and also apparently reptilians. So yeah, reptilian aliens. If you haven't heard about the reptilians, that's a freaky one. Obviously all of them are, but yeah. So lots of stuff going on in there, and they're doing animal fusing, human fusing, aliens. I don't know, probably dissecting humans and vice versa. So what they're trying to gain out of it, I don't know, but that's apparently what goes on, and those are the stories about that whole area. Also too, so my take would be that they're trying to figure out ways to maybe have coexistence in each of their areas, whether they're from another planet or interdimensional, or what they can achieve with all these kind of things. So very interesting. But those are apparently the 7 levels of, I'd call hell, if anything. Geez, does not sound like a lot of fun goes on in this Dulce facility. But yeah, apparently there's also, like I said, in Utah, there's other facilities where people would hear like noises coming from it, like weird metal clankings, and hear voices coming in and out of it. Just a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening. And of course, the sightings of UFOs flying around the areas. And another thing when it comes to Dulce is they talk about cattle mutilations that go on in Dulce and around the area. So that's a big thing too. So in ufology, it comes, cattle mutilations come with the whole territory as well. And with cattle mutilations, they would find, eyes missing, lymph nodes missing, various body parts of a cow missing. For what purpose, still nobody really knows, but cattle mutilations and UFO sightings have always been part of the whole lore of the, I guess you could say, but those go hand in hand as well. And also too, with the cattle mutilations, I guess in Dulce, there is also signs of human elements. So there has been, I guess, and it's, I guess, factually, that there has been gear that's been found around cattle mutilations at night sometimes. So sometimes they'll find gas masks, glow sticks, and other gear that's left behind as kind of like an evidence. But is that left behind to throw people off, to say that maybe it's just humans doing that and they're leaving, some kind of evidence behind to cover up for the aliens? Who knows? Or is it some kind of weird experimentations that a dark government or dark secret science kind of experiments going on that they don't want anybody to know about with the cattle mutilations? But That is a big deal as well. Also, too, sightings of black helicopters with no sigils on them is another big thing too that they talk about. That there's helicopters that fly around at night, all blacked out, obviously with no emblem or logo of any sort to indicate who they represent. But apparently that's another thing. And also too, with that, there's also sightings of UFOs when it comes to the black helicopters as well. So coincide, are they working together, or is this that the black helicopters show up after the UFO incident and they're just trying to recover what the UFOs have done and the aliens have done to whatever is happening in the whole thing? But that's a huge thing about Dulce, is that there's so much going on over there. And apparently also too, what has happened in the Dulce Archuleta Mesa is that there was apparently in 1979, there was a Grays versus like a U.S. military battle that happened within the facility. Of course, this is all passed down from people to people, but they're definitely interesting stories. But apparently in 1979, the Grays versus U.S. entities, there was about 62 to 72 bodies recovered because they wanted to recover the scientists and save them from this whole battle against the aliens that happened in the facility. Yeah, that's a lot to take in. Whether you believe it or not, very interesting stories, but you can look up all this stuff about Dulce, the Dulce base, Archuleta Mesa, and what has apparently happened over there. But nonetheless, very interesting stories. Like I said, Utah is another one. I'm trying to think of a few others. Also too, Dulce is not too far from Area 51, so they kind of claim that's probably the new Area 51 is the Archuleta Mesa, just because of how much has been revealed from Area 51 that they wanted to transfer the facility to a new location where nobody knows, but obviously people find out apparently. And yeah, a lot of the Native Americans, like I said, witnessed so much stuff, witnessed beings, they've witnessed craft, they stick to their guns of what they've seen, and they seem like they're genuinely terrified, and they do not like to venture too deep into it. So what do you think, people? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it interesting? Do you believe that something like that is even possible? Do you think underground bases are possible? I mean, obviously the military has had underground bases, and they do have underground bases just in case of like nuclear war and all this stuff. They do exist, but do you think that there's any kind of idea that there could be UFO bases, alien bases within the U.S.? Very interesting to hear what you think. If you have any stories about any of that stuff, I would love to hear, like I said, in the comments below. And please make sure to like and subscribe. It's always a long while for me to make any videos, and I truly appreciate all you guys for the support, whoever supports the channel. And I look forward to talking to you again about some future stories and other strangeness. So stick around, guys. Have fun, and like I said, Happy New Year's. I wish you guys all the best in the new year, and appreciate you guys sticking around. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.